Well, welcome in to another one. It's Sunday at 8 p.m. Do you know where your Pucknologists are? They're right here. Sorry we were a couple minutes late, but we were talking about things that swell. Let's get into what's happening. Oh boy, this could be a tight 25. I'm AJ underscore Strong, and we have Rocket Backhander.
Hey, I'm big in Japan. Rocket Backhander, how you doing?
And let's talk about big in Vegas. Jerk.
Hockey_jerk at your service.
Nice. Alrighty, ready. So hello to everybody that is in the chat watching from the outset, watching us live. We certainly appreciate that, but we have to do our digital janitorial really quickly. So, of course, remember, if you ever miss a show, want to hear one again, or on delay, whatever, iTunes Podcast, Google, Stitcher, we're on all of them. Pick one, and we'll be there. Remember, all the replays on YouTube and everything always available on tealtownusa.com. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. We're all on all of them. So go find us. And, hey, if you're on the iTunes, certainly would love some stars and some cool words of encouragement over there. All right? So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, after week 24. Show 96, by the way. Welcome in. After week 24, the Sharks played one game, and then the NHL said, you know what? We've seen enough of the Sharks shitting the bed. We're just going to shut the entire season down. Is that what it felt like? Felt like that to me.
That's exactly how it happened. Well, and you know what? As I saw on Twitter, can't get eliminated from the playoffs if there are no playoffs.
Hey, now.
Yes, so the Sharks this week went 0-1 in a game versus Chicago. Over their last 10 games, 3-6-1, currently sitting 15 points out of a wild card spot after being out 12 points last week. 8 points currently separate 6 teams shooting for 2 wild card spots. The Sharks start their road trip in Chicago in an embarrassing 6-2 loss after Evander Kane scores the first goal. The Sharks would allow the next 4. Dell with a very pedestrian 867. And again, it was so bad the NHL decided, you know what, we've seen enough of the Sharks. We're just going to shut all this down. But look, Rocket, was there anything you could at least take from that game that you go, hey, at least there was that? No? Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say at least we're not Detroit, but it's the way things are now. It's like, damn it, we're not Detroit. They got a better chance of drafting higher than we do.
As I always say, anything is better than not at all. Well, and the Sharks have 0 chance to draft high.
Well, to really put salt in the wound, after literally the evening after this game was completed and all the games were completed, LA, for those of you who don't know, had won 7 in a row, and it pushed San Jose into the absolute basement of not only the Pacific Division, but the Western Conference. Yep. So for those of you who had San Jose in the basement for this season back in October, man, you should have a lot of money coming your way if you put any down on it. Let's talk at least about the pros and cons for the Sharks with what has happened with the NHL suspending the season right now. It does allow players, I guess, like Couture and Ferraro more time to heal up and get healthy. And it means that fall to the bottom of the conference doesn't mean a whole lot. Hey, any other pros that at least we can try to think of before we go ultra negative?
I can't speak to how maybe rattled or frustrated the Sharks may be by how things have gone this season, but with what looks to be a furlough, if you will, of 2 to 10 weeks, it would be a good opportunity for the Sharks to just relax. Take obviously it's a stressful situation everywhere else, but it's a good way for the Sharks to not think about hockey, not think about how they're a crappy team this year and focus on other things. Be with their families, be with their friends, that kind of thing.
They were a
Absolutely.
crappy team last year.
Now,
Okay. This is, you gotta admit though, like at least they can't blame Erik Karlsson for this.
well, see that for me, that's the con is that it allows time for Erik Karlsson to get healthy.
Oh God.
I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
But no, the serious con though is that it takes away 12 games from guys, whether it was Gregor or Blichfeld or whoever you were going to see, Shellman, guys that were going to take and be able to use that time to make some sort of an impact on the coaching and, hey, maybe even on Doug Wilson as well, because we don't know if Bugner's going to be the coach next season. But taking those 12 games away for those guys to kind of show what they're made of, that obviously is a big con with regards to that. Let's go to the chat, if you will, for a hot second. Let's see here. Jessica saying, speaking of Timo Meier and Nosen, we're taking questions on Instagram. See, so players are finding some time to, finding something to do with themselves.
So Nason's Q&A also extended to his Twitter. There was a really good one. His wife said, "What is the favorite thing about your wife?" And he said, "I feel like this is a trick question." But also somebody said to him, "Please re-sign with the Sharks." And he replied with, "Call my boss," with an exclamation point. So...
But who's his boss? Is that also my wife?
Could be.
That's all I'm saying.
It's really anybody's guess.
Well, besides the players obviously being impacted by this, how do the employees get impacted by this? We've already heard that the Sharks have come out and said, "Hey, man, we got you. If you take money for parking, and if you scan tickets at the front, if you're wearing a blue coat, if you're an usher, if you're security, if you're janitorial, we got you, boo. But if you work for a company that we subcontract, like, say, I don't know, Aramark, who makes all the food and bev, or Fanatics, who sells all the merch, you guys are going to have to take it up with them." And from what I've seen so far, both Aramark and Fanatics said, sorry, yo, we can't figure out a way to fit that in the budget. Meanwhile, if I'm Fanatics or Aramark employees, I'm Googling like how to unionize.
It really is shameful. It's just shameful.
Well,
yeah, it is, because you think about it from the perspective of like, okay, so you're, in that position, whether you're selling food or selling, merchandise or whatever, you are in the mind of the consumer, you represent the company.
Yep.
You are the first representative of that company they see. If they have a good or bad experience with you, immediately that gets associated with the company you work for. Mm-hmm. So whatever you do, and 9 times out of 10, the people who do that job do a very good job at it. They're making the company look good. You're making these companies money. And for Aramark, and again, this is all supposed until we're told otherwise, but supposedly Aramark and Fanatics, like you said, AJ, are saying figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm. It's a travesty, because you're turning your back on the face of your company. I mean, nobody, if I go to Aramark, in Aramark stand, and somebody gives me a hot dog and they say, "I hope you enjoy whatever it is we're doing here tonight, concert, game, whatever," I say, "Wow, that Aramark worker was so nice." Mm-hmm. But never once am I like, "Man, the CFO of Aramark, that guy's a real straight shooter." No, nobody gives a crap about that guy, because nobody knows who he is.
Well,
like,
dude,
you got to take care of the front of.
Dude, if you're going to a Sharks game, I guarantee you, if you get crappy food and you're on social media and you're the average fan, I'm not, or should I'm not, I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but let's just say you might be the uninformed fan, and mm-hmm. you have a problem with food that you receive, when you get on social media, are you going to sit there and go, oh my God, the Aramark sucks. This food is horrible. No, 9 times out of 10, you're at a Sharks event. So you're going to go, dude, the food at the Sharks game suck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, it's that whole face of, the average fan doesn't know that, they're not taking into account that, oh, this is a company that is subcontracted and blah, 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 and it's totally separate, yada, yada, yada. They don't understand that.
Do the bartenders work for Aramark, or do they work for the Sharks?
Anything involving food or drink is subcontracted, like AJ
said.
Yeah.
So, downstairs, club level bar, post game, you get downstairs club level bar, you get great service, but like post level game, that's one of the special places I like being, because you have a personal relationship with the bartenders down there. They remember you,
Especially if you tip well.
Exactly. And they're great. They give great service, and they deserve to be taken care of, because they're part of, like Jerk said, they're part of the experience. They're frontline. I don't equate that guy's face with being the face of Aramark. I equate, that guy's face with being part of the Shark experience, so they need to take care of their people.
No, that's a perfect point. And
speaking of taking care of their people, I know they've obviously remedied the situation since then.
Here we go. But I have some things to say.
No, I do. And Rocket knows exactly where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about, I don't want to swear, but fuck the Calgary Flames.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
and the Jets, too.
Well, dude,
the Jets, yes, but
explain
especially
yourself.
So here, and this information is not courtesy of me. This is from somebody else. So it came out with all this, stuff, events being canceled, lost shifts, that kind of thing. A lot of teams are jumping up and look, maybe these are our lowest paid workers, and they do what nobody else wants to do, but they're part of our team, they're part of our family, and we're going to help them out. The Calgary Flames did the complete opposite of that. They and you have to know that it's the parent company. They run the Calgary Flames. I believe they run the Calgary, whatever the CFL team in Calgary is, if they have one. And then there's a third. Yes, the Calgary Stampede. Thank you. And I want to say the Calgary Hitmen as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a single company, and they came out and they said, oh, we're not going to pay our part-time employees like your SOL, basically. And, it kind of snowballed into a whole thing. Somebody really did their homework on Twitter, and I didn't know this, but apparently the company that owns these aforementioned teams, apparently they pulled some shady shit when swine flu was going on, bypassed a lot of people in need for vaccines to get them for themselves. Obviously I can't confirm that. I'm just basing this off of what I've read. But not only that, as AJ and I spoke about, they also really, really, really heavily bitched and complained about not getting enough taxpayer money for their new arena, but then can't turn around and financially take care of people that work for them and the personification of their brand. So let's talk about that. But just being it got to the point where, people started a GoFundMe, and you had Mark Giordano, the captain of the Flames, throw in $5,000. Zach Ronaldo threw in $1,000. Milan Lucic threw in money. You have players of the Flames basically saying, okay, our owner is a dick, so here, you can have our money instead.
Yeah.
What a joke. And Calgary, turned it around and they said, oh, we're gonna, we've changed our stance and we're gonna help our people out. But it's that's
after
great
our
that they're
players made us look like complete assholes.
That's great.
Yeah.
They're gonna help him out. But yes, their players made him look like a dick, but they looked like a dick in general. Now I understand if you have smaller companies, I get it if you can't financially help out everybody. I understand that. But these are companies that bring in millions of dollars a month. And these companies, big companies, pro sports teams, hockey, basketball, football, soccer, whatever, expect a lot out of their off ice, off surface, off field staff. Like
Yeah.
they expect a lot out of them. And, teams like Winnipeg and Ottawa and Calgary and Buffalo and St. Louis and Las Vegas, to turn your back on the people who put in the most work for your organization, fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
John, thank you very much for supporting the show with a $2 super chat donation. Since no games, watching old Tealtown shows year one. Thank you very much, and I apologize in advance.
I want to say one more thing, really quick, positive, and for those who know, I occasionally like to give out the hashtag Nice Guy Award. Sergei Bobrovsky, nice guy, kicked over $100,000 of his own money to help out the Florida Panthers part-time and full-time employees. Sergei Bobrovsky's Florida Panthers teammates came together, kicked over $100,000. Florida Panthers ownership group kicked over $100,000 as well. So that's $300,000 the Florida Panthers have kicked over to their employees. Nice guy, nice people.
Yeah,
I know they don't have fans, but they're certainly doing their best.
But that's the thing that really that I'm surprised is not more of a story. And once we're beyond all of this, and this is a distant memory, when we look back on this, I think it's going to be one of the things that's remembered is like, man, remember how there were certain franchises that dicked over their employees, or like we're talking with Calgary, it's that whole idea of, man, remember there's a couple franchises that they literally had to be shamed into doing the right thing.
Okay,
he does have some things to say. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Going back to the Calgary Flames here, just to really stick it to the Flames owners, because who doesn't love not feeling bad for the 1%? I'm looking at the GoFundMe for the Calgary Flames Employee Fund. David Riddick, $5,000 donation. Mark Jankowski, Noah Hannafin, Travis Hamonic, Matt Kachuk, Mikhail Backlund, Mark Giordano, Sam Bennett, Mark Giordano's wife, TJ Brody, and his wife, Milan Lucic, $5,000 each. Sean Monahan, $4,000. Zach Ronaldo, $2,000. Andrew Mangiapane, Dylan Dubé, and a couple other people, $1,000 each. These are players who work for said dickhead owner, taking it in their own hands. You love to see it. You really do.
No, I like it. California Cruising saying, I work game days for the A's, and we're being updated as MLB makes decisions for the seasons. Yeah, I'm sure it seems like it's changing day by day. If you remember, what was it before the March 5th game? It was a recommendation from Santa Clara County Health. No gatherings of more than 1,000 people. And a couple days later, it's 500. Then it's 250. Now it's down to 100. And earlier today, I read on social media that the governor, Gavin Newsom, has decided that, you know what, bars, nightclubs, and brew pubs, yeah, we're just going to close that shit down starting on St. Patrick's Day, like probably their, third, fourth biggest day of the year. I mean, you get St. Patty's, you get Cinco de Mayo, you get New Year's Eve. There are a few holidays throughout the year that are just literally known as drinking days, and boom, we're gonna shut that shit down. So
they need to, because you cannot give California a choice, because California be like, "Look, I'm gonna do what I want," and especially when it comes to booze holidays. So he had to. There was the Applebee's crowd left him no other choice.
Well, and we're talking about impact, like those employees. Can you imagine the impact of the surrounding businesses? Of SAP, of course, but all the other arenas that when they hold events, all the fans that come in and they eat and drink and what have you around those things. But now them shutting down all these bars and nightclubs and brew pubs. Now, an average bar is not going to be as bad. It's going to be bad, but it's not going to be as bad as, say, like a ISO beers type of a thing, or Taplands in Santa Clara, hashtag no free ads. But these places, they literally have rotating taps. They don't have bottles and cans that they serve for the most part. Their bank is made on having this ridiculously awesome, huge refrigerator that can store 40 and 50 kegs. Well, I hate to tell you, that stuff doesn't stay fresh forever. There's going to be a lot of beer either getting poured out, or there's going to be, if you know somebody who owns taps, that they have to, you might want to give them a holler, a little jingle, if you will, and say, hey, if you need some trouble getting rid of a keg or two, give your boy a call. But there's going to be a lot of lost, food and beer, food and bev. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of lost stuff. It's, man, the financial impact on businesses is going to be something that's going to be really worth looking at down the road. The other thing we haven't even talked about is guys like John Root, the in-game host, Brody Brazil, and his cohorts, whether it's Curtis Brown or Scott Hannon or whatever. But Brody's that's his gig, and to see that, and then again, like John Root, Danny Miller, the voiceover PA guy at the tank, these guys are now sitting there with their kind of thumbs up their keister, not knowing what to do.
All their camera operators.
Oh, guys riggers, the guys who load in and load, the stagehands that have to load in stuff and load it out. And now, granted, usually those crews are union. But still, it's like, ooh, fuck, come on.
Yeah, everything's just stopped.
The brakes have been, depressed, people, so far.
If ever there were a time to Netflix and chill, it would be now.
And funny you should say that, because somebody, I can't remember who, I would give you credit if I could remember, posted a beautiful meme that said something along the lines of, about 9 months from now, there's going to be a baby boom, and we're going to refer to that generation as coronials.
Yeah, and then 13 years later, they're going to be the quaranteenagers. The quarantines. That's what it is. TENs.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Alden saying Danny Miller also works for PG&E. So, all right. He's got gigs. It's cool.
So, breaking news: a member of Canuck Sports and Entertainment tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh God!
So now you got there. They did announce it a couple of days ago. The Sharks said that a part-time SAP center employee. So I'm assuming this is not someone from Fanatics or Aramark, but SAP center employee is tested positive for it. Their game last worked was March 3rd against Toronto, which I suppose makes me feel a little better that I went to the March 5th game instead. But yeah, well, and what does this do also for the teams? I mean, how long is this pause? Are we going to say that we restart the season in a month? What do they just forget the final 12 games? Do we end up with some sort of compressed ending? Will the first round or the second round be best of 5 instead of best of 7? How does this happen? And
truthfully, with the CDC's recommendation to eliminate mass gatherings until May 11th, that tells me that, best case scenario, when things come back, we're starting with the playoffs and maybe the division leaders get a bye in the first round. That, to me, that's best case scenario.
Oof.
I think it's 3-on-3, first team to 5. And yeah, 3-on-3, first team to 5. And then the playoffs will be best of 3.
If you take the current, obviously condensed or accelerated pace, like you said, AJ, is probably what's going to happen. But let's just say for fun, you take the current or the regular league's schedule pace and you apply that to a May 10th or May 11th reactivation. The Stanley Cup is getting handed out in the middle of August. And then you have what, 4 weeks to do the draft, free agency, college free agency, buyout window, training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Either the season's getting canceled or it's going to be heavily condensed. And
the ice sheets are not going to be in the best shape either.
It's
going to be garbage.
Would you consider, and I'm just throwing this out there because we've seen it happen before, is what if we come back 2 months later right? And granted, we all know that ice is going to be shit, all that stuff. But what if you came back 2 months later and you literally just kind of put a pin in everything from when they shut it down last Thursday, and then we pulled the pin out and say, okay, now we're starting from here, and we're going to go forward with everything that we had planned. And you know what? Next season is going to be a 52-game season. We're going to start it late to make up, so that way players do get a little bit of time off. You're able to have training camp. You're able to have some time to take care of some stuff. And then you just do, a shortened season next year as well. Or do you sit there and go, you know what? I know you've played 70 games. I mean, only essentially a couple weeks away from playoffs and everything. And you're going to say, yep, this thing is just, we're just, unfortunately, we just have to shit can the season all, full stop.
I could see that where maybe for this season, like you said, AJ, maybe they just emptied the tank for this season, keep the pace, give out the Stanley Cup in July, and then who's to say? I mean, if they did want to empty the tank on this season and give out the Stanley Cup in the middle of the summer, like I think I could handle, maybe another situation like 2013 where you just have a 48-game season. Maybe you only play teams in your conference to make up for that. I mean, if they were, like you said, I mean, we're at the finish line here pretty much. Like if you're able to just get them over the finish line and then make it up next season, like I feel like that's something that I could personally live with. But something else I've also read, the flip side of that is there's been a talk of like, okay, teams right now, I'm looking, every team in the NHL has played anywhere from 68, to 71 games. So there's talk of, okay, what if we just get everybody to 75 and then start the playoffs?
But, I mean, this is all under the suppose that in whatever amount of time they decide that they're going to resume games, that 50% of the league isn't sick.
Of course, exactly. And that's why this whole situation is a nightmare. I mean, it's unenviable, really.
I think they should just plan on everybody being sick. I really think they should, and they should just batten down the hatches, because the more they're going to try to push it, the more people are going to get sick.
Well, what if we go through down to April 1st, and no players test positive, no, like broadcast teams or anything like that, no one. One or two ancillary people, like they were saying, like an employee, like maybe you have one ticket taker that might have, or parking attendant tested. If nobody else tests, what about the option of saying, hey, you know what? It's been 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Everybody is clean and clear. Let's reopen the idea of playing in empty barns again so we can at least get it on TV and get these games played.
Yeah, but then you have to think about, okay, so we need to make sure that all of the overlapping sports teams and leagues that use the same facilities that we do, nobody in those areas cast positive either. It's not just insulated to the NHL.
Well, no, basketball, there's already been one player that's tested positive, so you don't get the option.
Right, that's in Utah, though.
Yeah,
that's in Utah.
Yeah, but still. But it's like, you don't get that option.
Utah doesn't have a hockey team.
No, I think...
But that's not my point. Yeah, but NBA players interact with other NBA players. That's my point.
Right. So, no, but I think, what Rocket is saying is like you have to, like the onus is going to be put on, the staffs of, buildings that have NBA and NHL, like Philadelphia, Washington, Boston, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I understand
those...
that.
Like, because let's say, you have, every NHL player is fine. Let's just say they're all fine. And then, maybe somebody on the LA Clippers, they sneeze on a door handle, and then Anze Kopitar gets corona because it's a shared door, that they go through. Like, that's obviously a very extreme situation. But I think the organization, like the buildings where it's basketball and hockey, obviously the extra onus is going to be put on them. And I think, like, if the NBA or the NHL canceled their season, no way the other doesn't follow suit, in my opinion.
And then on top of that, you have to look at where each arena is. Like, are they having a problem in that city that's like outside of the NHL? I doubt very much they'll want to actually like host an event there. So that cuts down on the availability of arenas by a lot. And that's just a logistical scheduling nightmare.
So do you think then?
Okay,
Do you think that
I have your solution. We just completely wipe down Solar for America ice. All the Western teams play games there. We find the facility that's back east, and all the Eastern teams play all their games in there, and it's only hockey players allowed in and out. That's it. There you go.
So I know you're trying to be funny, but that's actually kind of makes a lot of sense. Like if you can make it comparable to like a youth tournament where all the teams are in the same building.
Yeah.
Except you'd have to sanction the parking lot though and make them all camp there and not leave. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out. It's just a dome.
I mean honestly that's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
I like
honestly.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you could just like find a complex on each coast that can accommodate 15 NHL teams, and just like cancel beer league, cancel classes, cancel figure skating, curling, all that stuff. And yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's whatever we see, it's going to be something we've never seen before, which sounds really stupid to say, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Well,
this is all new.
Well, say for okay, let's play devil's advocate for the sake of argument, in what appears as we're talking about this right now, what appears to be the most likely outcome is say that the season does get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still hand out the Hart, the Selke, everything else, like Jack Adams, all that stuff?
No.
Yes. Because the way I look at it is,
we have a match. Let's get it on.
Well, because obviously you didn't get across the finish line, but like we're 85% of the way through the season. Like that's a lot. Even if the season does get canceled,
it takes far less to be voted to the All-Star game. But go ahead.
Exactly. No, exactly what I'm saying.
You
like
have a point. There's a point. Okay.
Even if it's canceled and there's no Stanley Cup champion this year, like we've played 85% of the season. You can't just throw that away.
And man, there was some good races too.
2020 is going, hold my beer.
Well, and I want to know too, like I'm curious to know how Maple Leafs fans are doing, because if the season ends up being canceled, then Austin Matthews won't hit 50 goals.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff in the lurch there. I mean, weren't there a couple of guys that were kind of fighting for? I would have swore there was talk about like whether it was Draisaitl for Hart or McDavid for Hart. There was a couple other guys. I mean, there was some good battles there. Not to mention the Calder.
Well, not only that, but if you're looking at the Rocket Richard race, you have Pasternak, Ovechkin at 48, Matthews at 47, Draisaitl at 43, and Zibanejad at 41.
Yeah,
like that's a race right there.
Oof.
Of course, Leon Draisaitl's running away with the Art Ross, but I mean,
Exactly. So you'd still hand out those awards.
I think so. I think maybe you do it all via Skype or FaceTime or Zoom, but
I would like that. So let's.
But one more thing. Okay. So I'm sorry. Let's say they cancel the season. Season's canceled. What if we get to September and things aren't better?
Then we wait.
Then,
would they cancel or
then...
postpone seasons in a row like that? You talk about unprecedented.
Well, to me, it's when we get to that point. To me, the big telltale sign is if we get to the first, I'd have to go look up on the calendar when it is. If we get to the final weekend of July or the very first weekend of August and the NFL is not playing their Hall of Fame game, then it got real quick. Because as you were talking about before, they said that the average game for, I think they said the Sharks brings in like 1.16 or 1.2 million per game. And the Warriors bring in like 3.2 million per game.
We're talking dollars.
Yeah. dude, football, dude.
Field ticket.
Yeah, I mean, that dwarfs that stuff in comparison. So you think about that, and it's just, oh man, if NFL ain't out here, man, man.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I remember reading something about somebody saying, like, out of all the leagues out there to go about blindly doing business as usual, it would be the NFL. So I don't know if I really use them as a, oh, yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I mean,
And that
can
point,
you?
then that definitely would be a
I
litmus
mean,
test.
I don't know. I don't know how you can like. Can you really Clorox wipe artificial turf?
No,
I'm just saying.
yeah, no, I get what you mean, but all the stuff. Oh, I'm just saying, they are the all-time cash cow for sport. If that if they put the kibosh on that, oh man, we are in for a long 2020, everybody. I'm just
I
saying.
also I read something that I thought was kind of interesting, and it's from Igor Aranko, who is like the only in KHL coverer that gives a damn to share his thoughts in English. Um, he said, and again, you have to take it with a grain of salt. He said that he's heard the NHL is considering 24 teams to get to the playoffs with a playoff with a play-in round.
I
Could you
mean,
imagine 24 teams in the playoffs? I mean,
no.
as we've seen, AJ, from places in both conferences, from position 6 to 11, it's jump ball.
Yes, but I mean, you know what? What I like that solution. I wouldn't be the biggest fan of it, but if it means hockey's back, sure, I'll take it.
Like you have, okay, so just for reference, in the Eastern Conference, you have 11 teams who are in playoff contention, and in the Western Conference, you've got, I would say, 11, maybe if the Blackhawks get hot, 12 teams in playoff contention.
All right. Well, the other thing that we've kind of largely ignored, I mean, you talked around about the surrounding businesses, and we talked about people like John Root and Brody Brazil and all those types. To kind of further on that topic, what do people like, I don't know, Randy Hahn and Dan Ruzanowski and all those guys? I mean, I'm assuming since the Sharks said that, yeah, we're covering everybody, the Sharks pays their contracts. So I'm assuming those are all going to be taken care of. But what about the poor bastards on sports talk radio all over the country? I mean, like, literally, what do you talk about? There are some people that, at least TV, they could just turn around and, like, they could replay, some game. We see the NHL Network do that every summer. They take a week and they're like, okay, this is, it's Pacific Division week here at NHL, and so we're going to play you, some of the best games between, from the Sharks or from Vancouver, whatever, and that's how they kind of trudge through the summer. On sports talk radio, you don't have that option. You can't sit there and replay a game. No one's going to listen to a game that happened 5 years ago, and what's worse, why would you break down a game that happens 5 years ago when you've got it on tape? You could, and you're gonna you know what I mean? Like, are we gonna like break out? Like, you know what? I didn't get the opportunity to break out the very first Major League Baseball game that happened in 1897. I would really like to break that down for you today. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I think that they should just take this opportunity to really sit down and look at it, ask themselves the question, map it out, put a couple of pins in a board, throw it up on the wall, figure out what is goaltender interference.
Okay,
You got time on your hands.
They could do a week of that. But
Yeah,
I'm talking
6 weeks.
Yeah, but I'm talking, the local sports talk networks, at least in this area, KMBR, 95.7, that neither of them talk hockey whatsoever. But now there is nothing for them to talk about, because usually they would be telling you right now how much the Warriors suck, how much hope there is for the Giants, and when did your bracket get busted for March Madness?
Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom
That
Brady.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just, unless you act as if we're in the off season and you just say, okay, so for next, like, what, assume it's the off season. Okay, so what do the Warriors need to do for next year to get back into playoff contention? Where
Stay
do we
healthy.
where do like just treat it as the off season.
Off season. We're talking off season.
Playoffs.
All right. Well, I mean, geez. At this point, I don't know. And to be quite honest, the people that are kind enough to be watching us live right now, I don't know if we'll be here next week. Whether we are or we aren't, we will let you know on social media, of course. I am finding a way to pass the time, if you will. So I have some articles in the can that I planned. They're not exactly time sensitive. I planned on putting these out a little later, but no, I think I'm going to I'm going to run a series next week, starting tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It'll give you at least something to talk about. Maybe we can actually. It's a fun topic, so maybe that's something we can cover next Sunday. At this point, I don't know. The one silver lining you can take, again, out of all of this is I guess this means there's less merchandise being purchased that Fanatics can fuck up. And with that, I think we'll just slide into it. We saw a tweet this week. For my birthday, my parents ordered a home Canes Brady Shea jersey, and we got this. NHL shop really been on some wacky stuff as of late at Fanatics. As of late, I don't know. I think they've been pretty consistent on whatever wacky stuff they are taking. But here now is Hockey Jerk to count the ways of how wrong this jersey is.
Well, how much time do you have? So a couple of things here. Number one, Brady Shea plays for the Carolina Hurricanes. This is a Calgary Flames jersey. So I mean, it's a red jersey, so
it has a C on the front of it.
C on it.
So, well, hold on. So it has two C's on the front of it, actually. So number two, Brady Shea.
They probably thought that stood for Carolina Canes.
Yeah.
So number two, Brady Shea is not number 30. He is number 76, I believe. Brady Shea is not the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes or the Calgary Flames, for that matter. The one aspect of this jersey that is 100% the way it needs to be, and Puck Guy will confirm this for me.
The Adidas logo's in the right place?
The nameplate that says Shea is a Carolina Hurricanes nameplate and letter font.
Oh my God.
So number 30 for the Calgary, does that player wear the C?
No.
Okay, see, that was the other point I wanted to bring up. So it's just...
I would have to do a quick research session here, but I don't know that anybody wears number 30 for Calgary unless I'm grossly forgetting somebody.
It would be a goalie, wouldn't it?
Number 30 for Calgary is, drumroll, nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, it would be a goaltender, I think. It's probably the emergency goalie jersey.
So
I don't know where they got 30.
What the actual, dude? What the fuck?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like Fanatics. We saw the seasons to Snosis screw up, and we go, okay, so clearly someone just wasn't paying attention. They flipped the plate upside down, and it still read correctly. So they're like, oh, that must be it. But can we give these guys a goddamn current roster sheet to, like whoever's doing the stitch work, or I mean, somebody, come on.
When you're 10 years old and English is not your first language, your second language, or your third language, and you're dyslexic, but nobody knows it because you're illiterate, this is what happens, AJ.
I'm telling you. I can't. Oh. And here's the funny thing. There's a couple people on social media that they're literally like, dude, like, why this massive hatred for Fanatics? Why do you hate them so much? And that's like 2% of the feedback I get. The other 98% is one of two things. It's either, go get him, AJ, or it's, hey, AJ, have you seen this one? Like
Those-
people are
I
sending
guarantee
me
you-
this stuff.
I guarantee you those 2% are Fanatics employees or family members of Fanatics employees.
Probably. But it's insane that you see this every week. Don't take it from me. If you don't have a Twitter account, go get one and just search at Fanatics support. Don't search them particularly. Like you have the option when you put the at symbol that you can click on that. Don't do that. Just search for that character string at Fanatics support and then just scroll. And you're just going to see people complaining to them, and then the Autobot stupid responses proving even more so that the Fanatics could give two shits about this. They're like, we don't care. And the other thing is, what's those terms and conditions there, Jerk?
Oh yeah,
It's like
colors, sizes, and shapes may be distorted due to your computer.
Yeah, due to your computer.
That's one hell of a distortion, bud. Holy moly.
So I went on Twitter. I typed at Fanatics, of course. If you go onto, granted, I don't know if this works in America, but if you, on the UK stream for Fanatics, fanatics.co.uk, if you click on Carolina Hurricanes, it shows Chicago Blackhawks jerseys.
Oh, God.
Never stop being you, Fanatics. That's all I'm saying. But the good news is I shared an article earlier this week. A new website is coming soon, people. If you are tired of dealing with Fanatics' incompetence and the fact that they don't have a lot of the cool gear that you can get locally, boom, SJ Team Shop is right around the corner. You can go look at it right now. It's still like in development mode. There's not a whole lot of stock there, but they're adding stuff almost every day. And they already, I guarantee you, they'll already do a better job on your jersey. Because it's funny, they have all three different ways of jerseys. Like they offer the heat press option. They offer like the basic pre-sewn, like you can get at the Shark store Adidas ones, or like the authentic tackle twill ones for jersey snobs like Jerk and myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I am laughing my ass off at this tweet I'm about to post in the YouTube chat.
Jersey snap.
What's up?
It says it's a picture of two football jerseys. Says, this is what I got going from a women's large to a supposed women's extra large. Said they couldn't confirm sizes because they're out of stock. Everybody go ahead and click on that tweet. You let me know what you think about it.
Okay. Oh, I wish I could just like throw that up right now.
Just pipe it in, yeah.
Oh, dude. That would be
so this goes to show you folks that Fanatics decimating the NHL fans' closet. They're doing it to football and basketball fans as well. So no need to feel singled out.
Yeah, no, not at all. and Cheryl asking a great point. Who is running this website? Sharks Sports and Entertainment? Yes, it's the Sharks that are behind this. It's not Fanatics. Hence why they have quality stuff.
hence why you care.
Yeah. Oh my God. Believe you me.
I'm almost going to we should make a free commercial for them.
Oh, don't think I'm not thinking about it. If I knew that Fanatics was behind this in any way, shape, or form, I wouldn't be writing an article about it, and I certainly wouldn't be mentioning it now. I'm just stoked that people outside the area are going to have that option, and I'm really going to be interested to know. Say this website launches in a month, whatever it is. I want to know what okay, give me the sales figures from shopnhl.com. Give me the sales figures. How much merch? Like, I'm not talking bottom line finances. I'm talking numbers of merch sold. Is Fanatics moving 300 or whatever 30,000 Sharks jerseys, and then this new website selling out like 5 times that because it's quality that can be counted on? People are tired of ordering a jersey from the Sharks that says 12 on the back and it spells MERLOT.
It should also be said, or clarified rather, this website is strictly associated, paired, a part of the pro shop at Solar Ice.
Yes. Who already has good, solid inventory. Cruisin' saying this website is already taking my next paycheck. Thanks, AJ. See, that's all I'm saying. But I'm
You're
waiting
welcome.
for it. Yes, I would like the number 12 jersey. Oh, Patrick Merlot. Yeah, okay, let's get that written down. Sure. Idiots. I'm telling you. So, I was worried we wouldn't have a tight 25, but we're beyond 45, so probably a good time to start thinking about wrapping this party up. I don't know what we're going to do from here on out, people. I don't know. Clean out your closet, get some shit done around the house. Like, honestly.
I'm supposed to be moving across country in 3 weeks.
There you go.
What am I supposed to do?
Man, track the dot. I just don't know. Oh wait, Patrick coming in with the super chat donation, $1.99. Thank you very much for supporting us. Oh baby, my Regina is experienced with this site. Hey now, hey now.
Regina.
Hey now, experienced Regina. Oh my God! I guess we can hope for. This really would though, jerk. If you think about it, there's so much less traffic now, at least in the Bay Area. I've noticed over the last few days because people are self-quarantining or whatever. Dude, this could make for some really awesome police chases if we come across one.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of people say like they've really been loving their commute for the past week or so. It kind of reminds me of when the Burning Man festival is going on, because all of the same people who have those cushy tech bro jobs they can work from home are the same people who the cushy tech bro jobs that allow them vacation time to go to Burning Man. So it's the same.
I resemble that comment, but yes, that's absolutely
You do not
correct.
go to Burning Man, though.
No, but I am a tech bro.
Well, yeah, but kind of, you're a reluctant tech bro.
That's true. I do it under protest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, eh?
No,
you're a wild and crazy DJ.
No, the traffic. It's been like I haven't seen it like this since 2009 when everything bottomed out financially. That got pretty thin. But I'll tell you, I made it to Walnut Creek today from San Jose in I think about 40, just a little over 40 minutes, which never happened. Usually that trek is an hour minimum, and most of it coming over the Sunol grade. And today I could have thrown a brick on the accelerator and flown right over that grade, no problem.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'd rather be in traffic and have hockey and everybody healthy, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, and can we just for a hot second, let's just throw out some nice points here. We're gonna start with RBG. Stop rating stores for toilet paper, you assholes. The COVID-19 does not make you have to shit more than you already do, so stop it already.
I don't understand where that came from. I really don't. I don't understand how it started. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Why did toilet paper become the comfort buy for everybody?
It's because
people are afraid of being trapped in their homes.
Yeah, but it's the same idea of this happens all the time because people are fucking sheep. That's what it is. And I don't mean that people are having sex with sheep. I'm saying people as a whole are idiots. And they see one person like go into a store and they just fill their cart with 187 rolls of toilet paper, and then they go, "Oh crap, I better get some before they sell out." And then it starts. You know
what? Okay, look.
If you just had the one person that goes, "Are you retarded? What the fuck are you doing?"
I've had these 3 bottles of hand sanitizer for at least 5 years now. Because every time I go to Bath and Body Works, I'm like, "Ooh, I should get a new one." No, I don't need. Oh, I should just get. So now I have more than enough, which means I didn't have to go hoard things from the store. I don't know, like, but toilet paper though? Why not Oreos?
Well, like I almost get the bottled water thing. I almost get that.
I don't.
Well, see, I do and I don't, because I get it if like people think that they're going to be traveling or something like that. I don't get the bottled water thing if it's like they're literally saying don't leave your house. Well, then buy water filters. Your tap still works, right, yo?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Thank you.
buy
Yeah.
water
I have
filters.
And now let's say this. I do have an emergency case of water on the off chance that there's some kind of natural disaster and, the Illuminati or Big Brother turns off my water.
You live in
But
the desert, though, dude. Like, you need water.
that's what I'm saying. But so also, you know what? I have a filtered pitcher, and I'll let you in on a little secret. I also drink Gatorade every time I finish a Gatorade. I wash out the bottle, fill it up with water from my filtered pitcher, set it aside for a rainy day. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And people take it from. Okay, this is my last preachy moment of the podcast. Do not
Too late.
do not make it so that a natural disaster or a pandemic or anything, do not make it so that forces you to be prepared for an emergency. You should be prepared for an emergency if it's a Tuesday in fucking April and everybody is happy. Always be prepared, especially for those of you who live in California, which I know most of our listeners live in California because, good God, earthquakes, yes, they are a little overhyped, but they can also be very, very dangerous. Even if everything's hunky-dory, business as usual, we're all kissing each other and hugging and high-fiving and not washing our hands, be prepared.
All right.
You know what? I think that's part of the reason why nobody out here, in the neck of the woods where I'm at, like, nobody's panicked. Like, people hear about it in the valley, how people out there panic, but out here, it's like, we're used to power going out in the winter and the roads closing because it snows and all sorts of shit. So people kind of already, like, they don't need to panic buy because everybody's got like a cellar full of food. Besides, everybody cans and pickles and stuff out here anyway. So
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Alden pointing out a great point, though. The state attorney general in Tennessee cracked down on the prick who was hoarding and price gouging for hand sanitizer. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It was
they had to donate it.
was it
Him
in
and his brother had to donate all of it.
was it in like Variety or the Times or something? But they talked about it like Chief had 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer in his garage, along with I don't know how many rolls of toilet paper or whatever. And dude was trying to resell it on Amazon and eBay and be a total douche. And it was funny to hear the comments from him because it was like, oh, this seemed like a financial opportunity to help out my family and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you were being a douche. If you want to be financial, help out your family, you know what? Go invent something to replace toilet paper that people don't have to hoard, okay?
No,
I guarantee you'll be a
seashells?
bajillionaire. Yes.
No,
3
and
seashells.
fuck this and fuck this crackhead because if you want to help your family, you do it for free.
Yeah.
I'm not related by blood to H.A.R. Rocket, but they are my family, and I would do anything for them. I would not charge them for it. So fuck that crackhead.
Okay,
Yeah, no, he's full
hold
of
on.
shit.
Let's test this theory.
I'm so offended.
Let's test
right
this
now.
Let's test this theory. Shave and come on the show next Sunday.
Oh, he'll do anything for love, but he won't do that. And I'm
That's all
already
I'm
going to
saying.
do that for him.
Who are you? Where am I?
I want a
my
divorce.
God.
What's a show?
Oh.
Oh man. All right. So all right. It was nice to end this on, at least a giggle note, if you will, because it has been a tough week. It has.
Holy moly.
And
You're
it's-
telling me.
Yeah, and it's only been, 3 days, really. It's already like, geez, and it's just going to be amazing to me. There's a part of me that just wants to start. I want to put on NBC Sports Bay Area and split screen
Why?
NBC Sport. No, to do Sports Bay Area and Sports California. And just throw it on like during the times when Warriors and Giants and Sharks and A's games should be on, just to go, I wonder what they're gonna do, and if anything, I think it would be hysterical if they would literally just get Brody and Curtis to throw up, the whatchamacallit,
Phrasing.
the field goal uprights, and Brody takes the little folded football paper or paper football, flicks it, and see if you can get it between Browns field goal, and then vice versa. And I'll watch a half an hour of that.
With all of these, with sports being in the position that they are, what group is going to make so much money in this crisis? Paid programming.
Oh, you mean like Netflix, Hulu, HBO?
No, I mean that we're going to have like the Slap Chop and the Magic Bullet infomercials at 2 p.m. as opposed to 2 a.m.
Well, because it's going to be real cheap to pay to have those
I
things
see
advertised.
what you're talking about. Okay.
No,
or you know what, those loud preachers that always wake you up in the middle of the night when you leave your TV on, those are going to be on during the day as well.
Oh God, no Jan Kraus, please, no more Jan Kraus. Fuck your 700 Club.
No, I figure a lot of people are going to take the opportunity to like try out things like Hulu or HBO Now or other things that they weren't doing before.
Or maybe they should just discover the joys of paying for an annual ad blocker and then going straight for the Pirate Bay. Just saying.
You know who else is going to really do well? People who make their living streaming video games are going to cash in.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, dude. I would totally watch a half an hour of ping pong between Brody and Brownie, as long as they're able to like shit talk each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Esports are going to be huge.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure all those adult film stars who have their OnlyFans accounts are going to start making tons of money from those interactions.
Dudes are going to be. There's certain guys are just going to be jacked from all the all the extra workouts they're getting in.
Right.
They're
going to have to make sure they rotate arms though, otherwise they're going to have like one beefy arm and one like little delicate
It's going to be like Quagmire on that Family Guy.
Dude, yeah, that was exactly. So great, man. So what have you been up to? Well, been
just working out.
Checking out some of that internet porn there, and it's, no, I'm okay. Just gonna go check my mail over there, and dude's totally jacked on his left arm. That was awesome.
The nice thing too, going back to the whole video game thing, is that when you especially for PlayStation and Xbox, you can buy digital versions of video games, so you don't even have to leave the house.
See,
I think the video game industry is going to explode.
I would imagine. But
put your stock into Sony and Microsoft, people.
But again,
you heard it here first.
Hey,
I thought we were all kind of hurtling towards being introverts anyway, so
I can see sales on like ebooks going through the roof as well.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Dude, people are going to be giving their iPads and Kindles a workout, yo.
It just means that my order from Wish.com is going to take a lot longer to get here.
So be it. So be it. All right. So with that, let's wrap it up, kids. Again, at this point, not sure. We are. I was going to say, to quote myself, with regards to next Sunday at 8 p.m., I am unsure if we will be here. If we find it, but see, that's the other thing. I'm kind of leaning at that. At least one of us will be, if not all three of us, but. Because this keeps changing daily, that there likely will be things to talk about. So chances are you will see us here, unless all three of us contract it later this week and die. So there you go.
Slapped by a giant meteor.
Yeah. Speaking of giant meteors, Rocket Backhander, where can the people find you? Coming in like a giant meteor.
My name is Rocket Backhander, and again, I am big in Japan. You can check me out on Twitter, just complaining about life in general, and Sharks hockey fandom. I love being a Sharks hockey fan, but it's a painful experience. Rocket Backhander at Twitter, rbackhander76, capital R, capital B, little ackhander76, or you can check out my photographs over on Instagram. Sort of been dark lately. It's been gloomy, dreary. Instagram. Rocket Backhander, one word, no spaces. That's it. AJ?
He is big in his own mind. Hockey jerk.
Pucknology After Dark is brought to you by Audible. That's for you, Puck guy. You know what? I said it on Twitter. This is a really hard time for a lot of people, myself included. I'll be fully transparent. But as long as we do what we need to do and just be nice to each other, we can all pull through this, no problem. If you agree with me, you should follow me on Twitter at hockey_jerk. I have made the sort of quasi decision that I'm going to be watching some old hockey games from the 2016 Stanley Cup playoffs because there's evidently a guy who has posted said full games on YouTube. So maybe there will be some 2016 hockey tweets coming at you in the near future. Who knows? It's really anybody's guess. Back to you, AJ.
Nice. All right. Again, AJ_strong. You know. Can we not at the grocery stores? Can we just act like adults for Christ's sake? We literally shouldn't have to put limit 1 per person on packaging for some of this stuff. We never had to before. You're not, you know, the one person that's using more toilet paper than you did a week ago. Please raise your hand. Yeah, I don't see anybody. So stop it. And can we stop with the whole joke of posting a photo of a collection of some sports team's memorabilia from Target or whatever and saying, hey, look, they still have toilet paper. Dude, that joke was funny when the 3 wise men told it to Jesus, and that was the last time it was funny. So stop it.
Oy.
It's old already. Let it go. So with that, thanks for watching. This was show 96 after week 24. Hoi, yoi, yoi. We'll see what happens. I guess next week will also be after week 24 of hockey because dude, we're gonna turn this into fucking Groundhog Day, dude.
Should we just talk about the Chicago game again?
Dude, yes.
Yeah,
dude,
every
dude,
week. Let's
dude,
do it.
Fucking Groundhog Day, dude. We'll talk about the Chicago game. We're just not going to tell you which Sharks Chicago game we're talking about. Maybe we'll make that a contest. If you can figure out what game we're breaking down, we're going to give you a bobblehead or something. I think that would be cool.
Ooh, that would be really fun, actually.
See? All right. Something to consider. We're full of good ideas here. All right. So thanks very much for watching. Again, stay healthy, stay safe, wash your damn hands. And thanks for watching.
Wipe
And
your ass.
yes. Catch you all next week, people. See you on Discord.